Okay, welcome everyone. We'll start our lesson 4. This week we're looking at LO4, Learning Outcome 4. As you know me, my name is Anjum Sattar. Please, if you have any question, those are listening this recording, please drop me email anjum@ukversity.co.uk and I'll try my best to get back to you as soon as possible. Okay, so we'll do a bit recap what we learned in the previous lesson. So please, we discussed in the previous lesson, we discussed about ethics and we discussed about 5 professional code of ethics. So we discuss about PPCIO, which is the abbreviation of popular people chat in office, famous people chat in office, popular. So first P, the professional behavior. As accountant, we need to make sure we keep not conflicting information, not self-interest, only the professional behavior, true and fair information to our clients in the light of ethics and in the light of the law. Really, we need to look around in those perspectives. We discuss about professional competencies and due care, which is mean up to date knowledge. We need to be as accountant. We need CPD record every year, at least 35 hours. That's the minimum requirement of a boarding body, such as IFA and a couple of others. So we need to make sure in the light of those, so we go through those. Okay, confidentiality. Confidentiality mean is client information not declaring. Of course, we know very well GDPR, General Data Protection Regulation, not declaring to third party without the consent of the client. That's really we need to look around in the light of the legal and ethical perspective as well. Please. Discussion in the previous lesson as well. Parent, the company which is the company more than 50%, the other company will be known as subsidiary. The company who own it 50% known as the parent. And when we look at the tax purposes as a corporation, head office, the domicile, and those perspectives we need to look around in that light. Okay, competencies and capabilities. We had already had a discussion in the previously. Confidentiality, integrity, we known as. Of course, we need to make sure the information is true and fair in the light of the law and our objective to be as much we're supposed to be in the law and the legal objectivity. Of course, not biased, not conflicting information, true and fair. That's which we need to be. Of course, we discuss about capital gain tax. We discuss about VAT, value added tax. We discuss about a little bit national insurance. We had a discussion about personal allowance 12,570 if somebody is earning and we don't need to pay the tax on it. So national saving income, we discuss, if you're on, so please, we need to look around the Finance Act and we need to look around. And the tax planning is illegal, so we can advise to client, if you're on your high tax bracket or additional tax, so you can transfer the saving income on your spouse or family members, then of course you're saving the tax, in that perspective. Okay, always good to be, please grant your knowledge about ethics and moral principle and the stakeholders, so you can reflect where at the moment and what is meant by a stakeholder. Anyone who has any interest in the business or the stake. Today's lesson is heavily focused, and we included the Finance Act. We said, if somebody is earning 12,570, no tax. After that, £1 to 37,700 is a 20%. After that is 8.76%. If it's someone with a high tax, is a 40%, and the dividend rate is 33.7%. And if we'll go additional rate, please, is a 45%, and of course, the dividend rate will be 39.35%. So we have to think about, which is option is the best. Of course, we have to pay the corporation tax, which we need to look around is small rate, other additional or higher rate, and the marginal relief, and we need to look around those prospective capital allowance, please. So dividend income, nil ban, if it's the £1,000 is exempt, all the taxpayer to 1,000 now the government according to this Finance Act. Okay, so we need to look around the saving income. First 1,000 if you're a basic taxpayer is exempt, next 500 is exempt on if you're a higher taxpayer. Okay, so please, personal allowance, transferable amount 1260, which we can transfer on husband and wife or spouse, if you're earning more than 100,000, your personal allowance will be down £1 up to 125,000. If you're earning more than that, the personal allowance 12,570 will be exempt, will be finished, then you have to pay the tax on all the. So those we need to be look around, please. Resident, so we have to look around the residency rules, and the tax automatically will apply to those. Child benefit income, if you're earning more than, if your income between 50 and 60, the chargeable is 1% of the amount of the child benefit will be every £100, so we have to look around the tax. So property income, 100% income finance cost and subject to the basic taxpayer. So you have to look around these, the law and the relevant, the basic CO2 emissions and all. So we have to look around the car and the level of electric car range. Yes, 130 miles or more electric range, 2%, 5%. And those we need to be look around that prospective pension schemes, please. Annually, the allowance is 40,000 minimum allowance, 4,000 income limit is 240, and those we need to be look around in the light of course, if you're claiming the mileage 45 pence, which we discussed, 10,000 miles, then of course, we can look around. Of course, corporation tax 19% and 25% the main rate. We have if the lower limit is 50,000 and upper limit is 250,000, and we can look around the total taxable profit, augmented profit divided by. So we need to be look around in that perspective, please. We need to be make and the penalties which we been inherent tax, please. We need to be look around 6 years, but less than 7 years. So those, the rate the property being transferred and the person and the limit of inherent tax, those need to be look around in that perspective. Okay, capital gain tax, please. Annual exempt limit 6,000. If you have more than gain, then of course will be the tax on it. Of course, the rates, we can look around normal lower 10%, higher 20%. The residential property lower 18, and those we need to be look around in that perspective. So these are the rates. Of course, NIA contribution we need to be look around in the finance experts. Thanks for joining. So to be on that perspective. Okay, so please, this week we're looking at LO. We're looking LO4. Our LO4 is about stakeholders. So please, as we mentioned, the stakeholders mean anyone who has any interest in the business is a stakeholder. Sometimes may be logical, not make a lot of sense of why we're learning about stakeholders in the corporation or in the tax module. Because of course we have to do the reporting, we have to look around the interest, we have to meet their expectation, and always in the accounting perspective, we need to be true and fair information to all stakeholders. The stakeholders are the group of individuals who have interest in what an organization does, expectation of the organization. It is important that the organization understand the needs and of the different stakeholders and provide them the information. And as an accountant, we have to think about true and fair. We work as agent, of course, the principal owner, and we charge fees for the services, but we have the moral responsibility, ethics, true and fair information. The stakeholders we need to be look around in the light of. Okay, so please, when we're looking, the stakeholders can be broadly categorized into 3 internal and external stakeholders. We can look around connected stakeholders, and internal stakeholders are immediately connected to organization. Their objective are likely to be have a strong influence, and we need to be look around how we run the company. So like employees, they are quite interested. No problem. Thanks for joining. That's fine. Okay, so please, we need to be look around the pay and the working conditions and the job security. We have to look around the status, pay, bonus, and these, because if we have to be, meet the expectation of. If we pay a lot of salary to employees, what about the investor? Actually, they are owner of the business, so you have to look around there. Of course, when we have the expense a lot for the business, of course, nothing will left to pay instead of the dividends. We have to be look around in that perspective. Of course, we need to be look around in the tax point of view as well. Connected, the stakeholders can be view have a contractual relationship with the organization. So shareholders steadily throw up the income, possible the capital growth. We want to be the work in the best interest of the shareholder, not the stake shareholders only. Now we have the stakeholders interest we need to be kept in mind, not just the investor interest. Because that's also is the social and moral responsibility. Okay, so satisfaction of the customer need to be well, to achieve through the providing the value for money. Really, we need to be make sure the supply is paid on time. Of course, we have to look around the financials and all of the lenders. And okay, external stakeholders include the government and the local authority. This group have the quite diverse objectives. We have to look around the community at large. They want to be local job for the local people, not noise, local using materials, care about the environment, environmentalist pressures. Government really want the fair taxes and good transparencies of the business and pay the fair shares, like in the past it happened, the Facebook on 75 million, but they paid only £4,000 tax, so we have to look around the prospective other countries losses, but the country of where you on the profit, you should be paid the tax in that country because you're resident in that country. So you have to look around. There are the laws of the head office. Those we need to be lots of the discussion on these rules need to be changed. So example of the conflict. So please implied versus managers. So job versus bonus. If we pay implies more salary, the wages, then of course less bonus will be for the managers. Sometimes it's a conflict. And then some of like Barclay Bank CEO being paid £2 million bonus when the Barclay Bank not earned a single penny profit. So customer versus shareholders, the customer want good quality and the shareholders want more dividend, and the general public really want the effect of on the environment and versus the profit and the dividend on managers versus the shareholders. Of course, managers want more, and we need to be look around. In there are a number of model power and interest metrics, a number of others which we can look around, and of course, satisfying involve negotiation between the stakeholders, sequential attention slide, side payments. We have to look around the stakeholders primary secondary we discuss connected, and the exercise of the power, who is more powerful stakeholder. Then we have what is moral and legal responsibility in terms of the law. The mission statement not contradict with the mission statement when the law, power and interest metrics which indicate you have to be group them the stakeholders and you have to meet their expectation accordingly. That's we need to be look around the corporate governance, corporate ethics. One of the way the viewing the dilemma is the stakeholders conflict, and is we need to be look around the example of the pollution concern conflict between trying to be more money, and with those we need to be look around ethics and the corporate social responsibility that like so we have to meet their expectation. We discussed about primary yes, so we look around the principle of the stakeholder, the main the performance, the governance, and then of course openness and transparency. So internal stakeholder, external and connected. Those we mentioned, and we can categorize like managers and employees, government and pressure group, and then shareholders, customers, supplier. These are connected stakeholders. We can categorize them. Okay, then please 4.2 when we looking the assessment criteria. Note, the exemption made the limitation information providing. So of course we have to make sure all the true and fair information, update information about tax affairs, about the company's affairs, as the accountant job to be provide, these true and fair information to all stakeholders. So we have to look around AGM, annual general meeting. We're declaring extra, if anything, extra within the year, which is that's can't be settled within before the next general meeting. So we have to be called extraordinary general meeting, and then of course we need to be fulfilled. So please effective communication using the appropriate the format, selective right format for the job, observing the format conventions or the house style. So please using the format correct, observing convention of the structure, that the style within the organization guidance, professional, present and ensure, that the document are neat and legible. So when we're looking effective communication, these are the key points we need to be look around the effective clear communication. We can use two, please, pass and kiss principle. Pass is the purpose, why we want to be audience structures, um, the message. So those we need to be the style, those is appropriate. Keep it short and simple message to the point and include, professionally, legibility, need, demonstrating competencies, record of, the needs and the user, display the good, design and the features and the corporate image of the organization. That's, reflect in communication. So we have to be make sure, that because the goodwill of the company is represent, we have to be either in the term of the taxes in the wider interest of the society. Informal communication or formal communication, of course, is appropriate style, appropriate, the business relationship, friendly, personal, and of course, when we do the formal, use the grammatically could be correct, abbreviation should be slung expressions, or these need to be avoided, in that perspective, because the formal more forms internal within, of course, we need to be look around the line managers, or should be polite, prompt, and accurate information too. And the method, of course, telephone, voicemails, meeting, communication, letters, reports, emails, these are. So when we writing the letters, of course, we need to be look around the standardized, more formal. So of course, letterhead, the companies are address, the reference and the date, and abbreviation, the subject, that's also very crucial what is about. And then of course, we need to be look around those, the salutations really need to be respective, dear sir, madam, dear director, whatever is addressed to. So we need to be looking on the heading and body of the main body and the paragraph for your faithful sincere. So those we need to be the top title. So please, reports can be titled, summary, introduction, finding, conclusion, recommendation, appendices. So informal can be titled, date, introduction, finding. So we have to be look around more formal when you're giving the reports. When please we looking, this is one of the area need to be look around, because we do a lot of communication through emails, and we need to be make sure, please, we use more BCC if you're sending email, like you copy to the directors and the, so maybe they're not sharing their emails between, or depends, the client. So please be supposed to be CC, BCC, blind carbon copy, so others will not get, their email, because maybe we can going to breach the GDPR. So we have to look around that perspective as well, please. And either you do facts and things, so we have to be look around the dates, the address, and the number of pages. So 4.3, assess, non-taxation factor, the applicable, the individual stakeholders. Communication play the key roles of the stakeholders. We have to look around their different channel of, and we need to be engaged with the stakeholders. We have to provide them up-to-date information. Any changes in the tax rules or the legislation or the pay, national minimum wage recently being in case, of course, will be applicable. So we can communicate how this will impact the cost and all, if you want to be look around within the stakeholder, that communication. Of course, any other VAT changes, like instead in case of the Uber taxi drivers and things. So your stakeholders, of course, your clients, so we have to look around and update them the relevant information, please. So we have to look around internal communication, which is the importing, sharing, exchanging, and the information and messages. Those we need to be look around, review internal communication within the companies, connected with the stakeholders. Those we up to date, like communication, especially finance sector in term of, or lose, because the tax planning purposes, so we can inform to the stakeholders at the start of the year. So what changes happen? So please, we are sending you this information. Recent finance act changes happen these. So that's, you can connect with the stakeholder. That will help, to increase the impression of the business reputation. And we need to be make sure we carry on selecting the right delivery channel. Of course, we use a lot of emails communication. Either you can, maybe sometime you want to call them, or maybe you can sometimes promote the software, with your clients. That can be, of course, we can do paper-based or online communication. Those we need to be. Which channel you use will depend on the range of the factor, the size and the location of the organization, whether single side, multiple side, or whether all are the same, the implies. Of course, we need to look around information communicated, the time scale, which individual group department need to be, and the cost, at the design we need to be. For example, all the staff need the publicly informed in the chain in the strategic direction of the organization. Those impact on the taxes, maybe we need to look around the capital allowances for support, and we need to be look around from that perspective. So we need to be look around the, communication need to be passed to the all stakeholders. Mission, vision, and the value of the organization. Of course, we not contradict in terms of the communication purposes. Behavior need to be, and ethics and the legal side need to be correct. Those we need to be regularly informed to the stakeholders. Be aware of your legal responsibility. Although much, when you're communicating internally, will differ, from the use, and we need to be. And other there is the instant, where all employees have the legal, obligation to communicate and consult with the workforce. Depending on, we need to be look around in consultation with the employees relations, like, we need to be look around in, is it audit requirement, and that's, if anything's changed in terms of the accounting standard, we need to be communicate. And of course, processes and procedures we need to be regular review, and of course it's integrity, objectivity, these need to be fulfilled. And the communication about the company's performance before tax, after tax profits, and we need to be informed, and we need to be included with all the stakeholders. Of course, we can look around the various examples. Meeting, of course, in the meeting minutes, maybe information gathering, problem solving, decision making, and planning purposes we need to be, and sometimes good to be why we have a meeting. Of course, we want to be solve the problem, plan the future, and convey the information, and obtain the approval, and each, establish the understanding. Of course, create, so we have to be look around agenda, we have to look around the starting and finishing, we have to decision and responsibility, and keep, so we have to look around the structure and the role of the meeting. Please, that's, is a common practices. Agenda, we need to be always, what is the agenda was, when we have a client meeting, the client signed, information being passed, so if authority is asking for the text, so you giving. So that's, I included a little quiz for the stakeholders and their expectation. Stakeholders mean anyone who has any interest in the business. Of course, we're looking more tax affair point of view. That need to be looked around. So today our lesson was more generic. Of course, we discussed about stakeholders. Please, always good to be connect, nowadays, of course, recent budget and the impact on various stakeholders, the new, that's, and like, manage tax digitally is going to be from 1st of Feb. If anyone self-employed, the turnover is 50,000, their returns and need to be managed to, and of course, then look around the reporting purposes, 50,000 and more, and the next year 30, and next year 20. So these are all in making tax digital, and we need to be look around the digital invoices and in informing the clients what impact will be, and carry on. Of course, is please, if you want to attend IFA network events, those happening, if you go online and attend, or if you want tax, purposes, there's a lot of events carry on happening. Those are quite good to use and attend those, please. That will help you to explore, the issues like, asset, foreign asset, resident, working abroad, and what impact will be on the tax purposes. So that's all from my end. Anyone, any question, please, if you want to ask? Okay, so please make sure attend the next lesson. Next lesson will be about assignment discussion, which will go through how we can address all these all these learning outcome within assignment, and we will go through assignment brief. We'll discuss about what we covered, where we can find the example, how we can embed it. Gov.uk can be one reference, ACCA can be one reference, Kaplan can be one reference, AAT can be reference, or ITT, Institute of Accounting Technicians, maybe can be tax, that can be reference. So we have very different, the source books, journal articles, those we can, as a reference purposes, our reference style, which we'll use, and that we'll go through further in the next lesson. And that's all from my end. Anyone, any question, please, if you would like to ask. Any question, please, if you like to ask? Otherwise, we'll keep up to here if no question. And have a lovely weekend. And I'll speak to you next week when we'll do assignment discussion. And our lesson will be again 2 o'clock.
Hi, Professor. I just on this last module, sorry, I was mute there. I was trying to talk to you, but I was mute on this one. It's just a quick one. On this module, obviously, this is more kind of theoretical. Is discussing about the, how can we communicate with the stakeholders, and obviously on this section, I can see there's only obviously other 3 sections. I can see there's a pause, there's a merit and distinction there. On this one, we have only the pause. That means that we need to just explain the viewpoints. This is how we basically carry on and to communicate with the relevant stakeholders. That's correct, isn't it?
Yes, you're right. Because this is just connecting with the stakeholders, passing them information, and we need to be informed up to date, with the law or the legislation or the ethically morally correct information.
Okay. No, that's fine. And as I said to you, because I was supposed to send you, because I have done, I think 2 of the sections nearly finished. So I was thinking to send it to you, but the last week, but I was busy last week. I couldn't manage to send it to you. I'll possibly send you this week. I've nearly done my section 2. We'll be doing my section 3. So we're going to be the next week. So I'll be sending to you the next week. So before we meet next week, if you can give a quick the SS on this one and review this one. Yeah. Okay. I'll send it to you. I'll got your email anyway. So
yes. So you can send me, and after the lesson, if you want, we can do the discussion. Maybe we can say
okay.
Because we do assignment discussion lesson as well.
Okay, then that'll be grateful. That'll be awesome. That'll be awesome.
After that, you can submit if you want.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. That'd be awesome. That'd be great. Yeah.
Great.
Thank you, Professor. Thank you.
And thank you. Thanks for attending. Have a lovely weekend and thanks for joining.
Thank you.
You too as well. Bye. Bye now.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye.